Brian, Robb, J. King, and Jam Packard present Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle, Boston Celtics, Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle. Oh yeah! Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle, Boston Celtics, Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle. And a 19. Jalen Brown, D. White, Crazy Joe. Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle. When Tatum coming back. Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle. Boston Celtics, Steel Bottle, Steel Bottle. Oh yeah!
Come on, don't get the next generation. Guy wants to win. Every no time.
Let's go, you motherfucking Celtics. Let's go, baby. Let's go. You motherfucking Celtics. Let's go.
Let's go, baby! Welcome back to the best podcast, the best Celtics podcast on Al Gore's internet. This is Still Potable. We are hosted by Jay King. He's been covering the Boston Celtics for more than 10 years, and he is a Celtics beat reporter for The Athletic. We have Brian B. Robb,
and a legend,
a beat reporter
and that dude,
NASLive.com, humble, modest, and has also been covering the Boston Celtics for over 10 years. And I am Sam Jam Packard, professional sports fan, and I have been podcasting about these Boston Celtics for the past 10 years as well. We have over 30 years of Celtics takes, Celtics experience, and just Celtics entertainment, and that's what makes us the best podcast for you guys, Celtics fans. Today, we are brought to you by the CLNS Network. That means we are also brought to you by Prize Picks. Use the promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you use your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS. If you want the free podcast, you can just find us here on CLNS. You can go to our YouTube at Still Potable. You can go to our Twitter at Still Potable. You can find us anywhere you get podcasts. That will get you 2 podcasts a week. But you're a Celtics fanatic. You're a crazy person. You are following the 9-8 Celtics, and you are so ready for us to draft the 6 potential Neemias Queta replacements later in this episode that you want more. And I know the exact place for you to go if you want more. That is patreon.com/stillpotable, because we got content for you every single day of the week. After every single game, Jay and B Rob are at practices. We're doing mailbags. We got a live chat during the games. It is a blossoming Celtics community, and I dare you to join today by going to patreon.com/stillpotable.
That was good. That was good. You really stepped your game up right there.
You know, I have been yapping about the Celtics for a while now, so I feel like I can crank it up a little bit.
Did you write that down, or was that just off the top of the dome?
That's off the top of the dome.
That was good stuff.
We might just record that, Packard, and just like
you
play
might
it
actually be a professional sports fan after all.
I'm a professional sports fan and a trained trial lawyer, so I would like to think I can speak on my feet a little bit. The problem
Are
is
all lawyers trained trial lawyers?
No, a lot of lawyers just do what's called litigation.
But you're probably trained in trial law as well.
Not at all. Not at all. You're absolutely
You can pass the bar without having any knowledge of trials.
Yeah.
Gotcha. There's just no chance.
You can pass the bar without having no knowledge of trials.
There's just no chance.
Trials is like active arguments in open court. You can just be a litigation or like do mergers and acquisitions, and you know nothing about like objections or anything like that. You don't even have to take evidence, really.
I know about objections, and
your dad would be ashamed right now. You call your dad, a renowned trial lawyer himself, and you apologize for what you said.
My dad likes to avoid court if he can, because he's a medical malpractice lawyer. If anyone gets injured or believes that they have a case against their doctor, you should call Matt King.
You should call Matt King and never call Jason Stone injury lawyer, because that guy doesn't know guff about personal injury, not the way Matt King does. And Matt King dominates the Western Massachusetts courtrooms. You do not want to see Matt King waltzing into Berkshire County Court. That guy will wipe the floor with you.
He'll crush you.
Absolutely destroy you. Now, you know what would crush me?
I gotta tell a story. One time.
Okay, go for it.
This is a good medical malpractice story. Bet you didn't expect a medical malpractice story.
I did.
So I tore my meniscus, and had to get surgery on my left knee. And I went into my doctor. I won't say who it was. I went into the doctor for surgery. My dad brought me, and because I needed someone to drive me away. This was, I don't know how many years ago. And they were weird about how many times they made sure I said it was my left knee. Like, they had me sign something. They asked me like 100 times. And like, I got out of surgery. I was driving home with my dad. I was like, Dad, why was that so weird? Like, why did they make sure so many times that it was a left knee? I must have told him like 30, 35 times. I initialed my knee. I did everything. And he's like, yeah, I sued them pretty recently for operating on the wrong knee. And so with him there, they were going to be over the top about it, but it was hilarious. I had no clue. He's the one who recommended the doctor, said he was a good doctor, but the doctor had operated on somebody's wrong knee very recently, and my dad had sued him for it. And then I got surgery from the same guy. It was a wild, wild web.
Well, that's why you make sure to keep him accountable, because those people are not going to make a mistake there. That's how they
were going to operate on the correct knee, not the right knee, the correct
knee. Now, I've been trying to figure out how to directly transition from this fun story to our primary topic of discussion, which is Joe Mazzulla's how much he hates fun. Now, this all started about a week ago, where a nice young reporter from Sports Illustrated for Kids came in and asked Joe Mazzulla, how does he balance, fun and winning? And Joe basically said he doesn't like fun, and he tells children all the time to not try to value fun when they're playing basketball. And Jay, this got your wheels turning, so I'm going to let you kind of take it over from there. What made you then go, you know what, I need to talk to Joe one-on-one about this?
I just thought it was a fascinating response. Like, very rarely do you hear someone say fun is a weakness of mine. And very rarely do you say does someone say people use fun as a cop-out and warn a young person not to do that. And so when Joe said that, it was announced as the last question of the press conference, so nobody could follow up on it. And it was just like, he said it was into the void, and everybody moved on. It was kind of a viral moment. People shared it everywhere. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to talk to him about that, because I think that's really fascinating that he just said basically like he struggles with fun. And so I tried to talk to him about it. I sat down with him for about 10 minutes, and he struggles with fun. But what stood out to me is like, it's very clearly something he thinks about a lot, and that not everybody else gets enjoyment or sees things the way that he does. And so his lack of fun or lack of finding joy in the same things everybody else does is like something he really has to guard against and plan for and intentionally go about, like creating a culture that everybody can enjoy and not just himself, because the things that give him fun may not be the same things that give everybody else fun. I thought it was fascinating. The things he said to me, it's like kind of predictable for Joe, but in he's super unpredictable type of way. And yeah, I think it kind of says a lot about why he is the way he is and how he operates and how he wants his team to operate.
How soon did you, like, when you were asking questions, you're like, man, like, did you know that like this was going to be a good interview? Because I feel like sometimes Joe is not the most forthcoming or really excited to talk to the media. Maybe he's probably better in a one-on-one setting, but like, were you like 30 seconds into his first response, you're like, man, this guy could write a treatise on how much he hates fun?
No, so I kind of expected him to just deny the one-on-one. When I asked about it, like, I fully expected that he wouldn't want to talk about it. I did not know that I was going to be talking to him until it was at practice one day, and he finished his regular media responsibilities, and then the PR person told me like, "Oh, Joe will talk to you right now." Like, whoa, I was totally unprepared for this. I had no clue. And so he was just sitting against the wall near the practice court. And so when he agreed to it, I kind of figured he would be at least pretty open about it and be willing to talk about it. And then as he was talking, I was just kind of like, this guy, I wish he was more open and vulnerable, because the amount of care he puts into every aspect of coaching and every aspect of his life, like he has mapped out, he has thought about every single little thing, including the definition of fun, like something that nobody really spends a lot of time thinking about. Everybody kind of has fun out there as like, do you have it? Do you not? Are you feeling happy? Like, it's just a feeling to me. And he's very intentional about the way he tries to build that in his team, and just how he views himself. Like, he's so self-aware of knowing, like, I don't get fun the same way everybody else does, and I need to be 100% conscious of that while I'm coaching my team, because like as a team, you have to enjoy yourself. You have to love each other. And he goes about it in ways that might be unorthodox. I would say like machine gun sounds and war metaphors and all that is pretty unorthodox when fun is one of the byproducts. But that's how he gets fun. Like, and that's how, to me, like when I was playing basketball, that was fun to me. If you're playing as hard as you can and competing as hard as you, like, that's fun. And he sees it similarly, but obviously has like a different twist on things because he's Joe Mazzulla and kind of can be an anti-fun guy.
B-Rob, how do you feel like he's done in terms of like balancing his own approach to fun, which is like, you know, the insane stuff, but like also bringing along these players? Like, and I think it's like the cool was his perspective is like he realizes he doesn't, like, he's not the same. He realizes he's way different than everyone else, and his job is to bring along these 15 personalities. And so there's definitely a balance in being like trying to make those 15 people kind of match to you, or trying to kind of adjust to those 15 people. In his, 3-4 seasons now with the Celtics, how do you think he's done, I guess, relating to those players and convincing and basically tricking the players into thinking that his version of fun is the way to, like, they can get better?
I mean, I think he's clearly done a phenomenal job just based on how well those players have connected with him. And I don't know, I've been just looking around the league. I mean, he talked about it too in the article, but like, I feel like they mix in a ton of random stuff, not just like the machine gun stuff, but like
handball. Yeah.
Like there's been a ton of that this year and in years before. And that's, maybe other teams do that and we just don't get a peek of it.
Pickleball sometimes.
Right. Like
they'll throw around the football.
Right.
It's all based in competitiveness, though, which is, I think, important for the madman Joe Mazzulla.
But I love the fact that stuff like that to break up the monotony of a practice while also like trying to learn from like, okay, he's obviously a very curious creature in terms of like, all right, from being into soccer stuff, like very, jiu-jitsu stuff. So trying to bring other sports into it, like, okay, what can we take from this? How can we build camaraderie from this or whatever? So for someone who doesn't like fun or doesn't know how to do it, like he certainly is eager to keep things fresh and bring in stuff that other people might consider, like players consider fun, and can kind of keep things fresh for them, I guess.
And I feel like it's probably informed how they like select players. Like you need to have the right type of mindset if you're going to be coached by Joe Mazzulla. And I don't know if there's necessarily been players who haven't mixed in recently, but like you have to be committed to the competitiveness and the process of getting better. And I feel like that's one reason why Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I think, are two guys who were doing this well before Joe Mazzulla got there. But like the commitment to the process of learning, and this is very much like Kaizen growth mindset, that feels like it's the most fun for Joe Mazzulla, but it's like attracting the right type of players who are also bought into that process, that daily process of getting better, feels like what makes the kind of the current Celtics partnership work so well.
And it's funny because like Joe and Brad are extremely different people. right? Like very, very different in the way they go about a lot of things. But where they're super similar is that they value competitiveness, they value unselfishness, they value like sort of the team ideals that like high school coaches value. You know, like a lot of NBA coaches, or front office guys can kind of get like lose that. And they very much believe, like Brad used to talk about getting the right people on the bus. And that was like a metaphor that he used from some book he'd read a long time ago. And when he was putting together this team, like obviously they were very hamstrung in the amount of resources they had to spend this summer. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to get young guys, hungry guys who will come in and want to do whatever it takes to be a part of something big. And not just to like get their own opportunity, but to get their own opportunity in the construct of a team, in a team construct. And you look at like the way Joe is coaching them, he's only able to do that because all those guys are okay with it. Like Ugo, Shireman, Jordan Walsh, and obviously Shireman and Jordan Walsh were here before, but Josh Minot, Luka Garza, it's like no matter what Joe has done, everybody is desperate for playing time, desperate to be part of something and not thinking about their own stats. It's like, how can I help the team? And so, yeah, I think that's very much a part of the way both guys see the game. And like, I assume like Brad and Joe are very, very different in how they approach like
life.
Life. Yeah. There's a lot of differences, but when it comes to that, they could not be more similar. And I think that is like very good for the Celtics. And I think especially in this phase where, I guess not especially in this phase, because like adding Drew Holiday, adding Al Horford for the second time, those were perfect team guys that helped move everything forward. And one of the reasons they won a championship. But when you have limited resources, like getting guys who will commit themselves to all that stuff is really important. And they've done that. And I think, you know, Brad was intentional about doing that over the summer, and Joe appreciates that. And I think the veteran guys too, that matters to them. It's like, it could be very frustrating for a lot of these guys to be competing for championships. In Jaylen Brown's case, literally like his whole career, he's been going on deep playoff runs. They've had a team that could compete. And now you have to take a step back talent-wise. And I think it's important for them to know, like, these young guys are all committed to the right things. And if it wasn't like that, then there could be real problems. But it is. And I think that's a testament to what Joe and Brad have built.
When I was reading this article and like seeing the Joe Mazzulla quotes, I could only think of Brad Stevens, especially when Joe's talking about like, I didn't really enjoy the winning of the championship. Like that part, the results for him are not the biggest thing. It is so process focused. And it reminded me about when I fancied myself a journalist and I interviewed Brad Stevens one-on-one about like the growth mindset. And I was just like trying to figure out this idea of process over results. And I was like, thought I had this gotcha question. So I was like, so what happens when you win the championship, Brad? Like, are you happy then? He goes, well, no, then you just move on to the next season and you just keep trying to get better. And I was just like, so mind boggled by that. But I do think it's like a reason why, one, like you can see the two approaches and why Joe Mazzulla is the guy who was picked from the back bench to replace Ime Udoka, like handpicked by Brad Stevens, because you can see their alignment in that way. But I think it's a reason why Brad Stevens is a successful coach and will be successful no matter what the talent level is. And I think it's one of the reasons why Joe Mazzulla will be successful with a super talented team and will probably be a successful coach with the current level of talent on this team, because it is such a focus on the process of getting better. And if you are throwing out results, which it seems like Joe Mazzulla does, like he obviously wants to win and there is a competitiveness to it, but some of his quotes, Jay, in that piece were like, if we win by 25, but we like did it the wrong way, I'm furious. And I'm walking back to my car, like just absolutely pissed off. And if we win or if we lose, but we did everything the right way and the ball just bounced the wrong way, like then I'm kind of happy. If you are really not focusing on results, then you don't care as much that the Celtics are 9-8 this year. Maybe you're a little bit pissed off if you're Joe about the fouling or maybe certain things that they could do better process-wise, but it's a way to kind of adjust for talent no matter what, where you are so locked in on the process that you are not discouraged by these results, B-Rob. And so I think it's like just an interesting, and I think it's cool that it's like a whole organizational philosophy at this point where it's like no matter what, the Boston Celtics are going to be working day to day to get better, where you see other organizations just make kind of terrible decisions based on the results or hoping to get to that next level. It doesn't feel like the Celtics have that panic in them because I guess it doesn't matter what the results are. It's really about trying to make this team better on a day-to-day basis.
It's pretty big to have that alignment. Like a lot of teams in the West, look at the Sacramento Kings. Or just,
that was the first team.
That's just a
results, no process teams.
Right. They have something going a couple years ago, it looks like, and now it's like back to shreds, like 2 coaches later. It's the level of continuity from the front office to the coaching staff, even all the way up to ownership levels from old to new here. Like that's why this team won and why they're all continually no one's really worried about this year and beyond in terms of like them getting back to where they need to be, despite the amount of turmoil, and that alignment from Joe on up, I think is a big part of that.
Jay, before we take a break, is there anything else from your interview with Joe that you found fascinating that you want to share with the kids?
One of the parts that I found most fascinating was like he brought up that he thought he didn't necessarily do a great job of instilling a sense of joy last year. And of course, as a reporter, your antenna go up and you're like, oh man, that's really interesting.
Last year, the team was pissed off.
Yeah, and I don't think the team was pissed off, and so I asked him a follow-up on that. He's like, I don't want to make this about last year. I want this to be about fun. And he decided not to talk about it. But I do. And part of that is just every coach, when you lose, is like, what could I have done differently? And sometimes it's just like, yeah, well, the guys were going to collapse in 2 games against the Knicks no matter what. Like, you couldn't have done anything to brace yourself for that. It was just bad luck. It happened. Jason Tatum got injured and shit went up in flames. Like I don't think that was Joe's fault necessarily, but for him to say, I don't know if I gave enough a sense of joy, like maybe he I don't know whether, I'm just guessing now because he wouldn't talk about it, but do you think he wanted them to cherish the process of going after a championship instead of like trying to reinvent themselves and spending all year like, what can we do next to get better and better, to arm ourselves with new ways to play so that we're not the same? If it was just like, man, let's enjoy this. Like we're the reigning champs. We have everybody back. Like let's just savor this ride, because you never know how many chances you're going to get with a team like this. And obviously for them, that was the last chance before they lost, 5 guys. And right now I'm just guessing about what he could have meant because he didn't want to talk about it. But I thought that was really interesting. And then when I asked him about the championship stuff, whether he got joy or fulfillment from a championship, that was like my last question. And then he said, nope. He was like 0. And so I asked what his reaction was to the championship, and he's like, can we just stop it there? And he was like going to stop it. And then he explained himself further. And I thought the explanation was like, and that was one of the quotes I had first in the story, but I thought that was like when he opened up the most after I asked him about that. So it was all really interesting. He did not want to make it about last year or the championship year. He wanted it to just be about his fun. But I thought in talking about that, it was about his concept of fun. And I just thought he's a fascinating guy. And when he lets you in, it's always like, it's something fun to write about, because he really does think of every single detail in coaching, in life, and he's one of the most intentional people you could ever imagine. Like, just has thought of every single angle you could possibly think of. And so when he's open about all the ways he's prepared for different scenarios and different things, it's always fascinating to talk to him.
How do you think he is prepared for the idea of not having Neemias Queta? We'll answer that question after this word from our sponsor over at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the best place to have some fun this holiday season. It's the best time of the year for sports. You got bowl games, you got the NBA Cup, you got playoff pushes. Everything is happening at once. And if you want to have some fun, I would suggest downloading Prize Picks. Prize Picks has easy payouts. They have stacks. They have injury reboots. And you can pick across multiple sports in the same lineup. With early payouts, if your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game is even finished. You can also pick a bunch of different stats. You can go with the fantasy score, free throws made, field goals attempted. Prize Picks has a bunch of different options for you. And they also have just the most straightforward way. You don't have to calculate your payouts or anything. There's easy payout multipliers, whether it's 3x or you can go up to 2,000x. Prize Picks makes it easy to understand. So if you want to get out there and pick Peyton Pritchard over three-pointers made, Derek White over blocks, more blocks, I would go for it. And if you want to get $50 in lineups, download the Prize Pick app today, and you'll get that $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. All right, the Celtics practiced today, and it was officially announced that Neemias Queta, the net rating god, the only Celtics player who is basically taller than 6'9", will be out against the Detroit Pistons. And that's not a team who I believe have won 14 in a row and have a giant player named Jalen Duren, who I think after the fourth game of the season, I said was good, and Jay King said he sucked.
I need to put both hands up, not just one, both hands up. I always short sold Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren has been a monster this season. And yeah, I remember I shitted on you. I was like, it's Jalen Duren, guys. Yeah. Why are you guys talking about Jalen Duren like he's one of the best bigs out there? And sure enough, he's averaging, like 21 and 11?
20 and 10, easy, yeah.
Yep, and winning every single game. So
it's good.
Hand up. Sometimes I get them wrong.
Sometimes you get it wrong, and it's going to be tough for the Celtics to play against Jalen Duren. And I think his Neemi was just an ankle sprain. Did you guys get any word, B-Rob, about like how long he's expected to be on the sidelines?
Yeah, Joe is very forthcoming with us today. He said he's going to be back in 2 or 3. No, Joe, did not acknowledge even him being at practice. We saw him walking across the court after practice to the weight room. So, but
was he walking gingerly?
It was absurd, Packard. It was so absurd. So we asked Joe about Neemi, and he said, "Haven't seen him
at all." He's the biggest man in the
building. 3 or 4 times in a row. He said, "I haven't seen him," and then he said, "Haven't talked to him." It's like, come on, man! Like, you haven't seen the guy, like, and then. I don't know how many minutes later, like half an hour later, Neemi comes walking across, and he didn't have, as far as I could see, like any boot, certainly didn't have any crutches. He was walking by himself. That's all good news. And then he walked to the weight room. Somebody came out and closed one of the weight room doors behind him. It's like, why the secrecy? This is not the NBA finals. Like, you could just answer a question about Neemias Queta and say, could have said, yeah, he sprained his ankle, going to be out a little while. Hopefully he won't miss too much time, whatever. Instead, Joe acted like he hadn't talked to the guy, hadn't seen the guy, and like he had not even thought to reach out to his starting center about how his ankle was doing.
He also had given no thought about how to go up against Jalen Duren without your starting center. He had not even conceived to have that type of plan.
Yeah. So when I say that they close the door, just for people who haven't seen the practice facility, like when we're on one side of the court, the weight room is on the other, and you can see like a very small sliver of the weight room from where we stand. They closed one of the doors so that the sliver was even smaller, and Nemi was able to hide behind and do whatever tests or lifting or whatever he was doing. I don't know, because they closed the door because it was so important to hide Nemi from all of us.
I'll say this though, like for them to totally rule him out entirely, I don't think like this is going to be like he's going to be back on Saturday.
And they have a back-to-back coming.
Yeah, back-to-back then. So I mean, and there's never a good time to lose Nemi this year, but this might be top of the list in terms of you're going against Pistons and then Wolves front court. They got a lot of big bodies there.
They got a 5-7 coming up after
Josh Minot revenge game.
I mean, that's true. Minot
ready for this Timberwolves.
Hold on.
The guards are starting.
We'll get to it, folks. Well, that's where we're going to do a little potable six-pack here. And I say we don't do a full snake draft. I say we just do a round here because we're going to be drafting the possible Nemi replacements at center, and I don't want to absolutely screw the person who has to go 6. I just feel like we should go 1, 2, 3.
We should 100% do that.
Oh, we're doing a snake draft? You want the snake?
Do the snake.
All right. Who wants the first pick, though? Well, then you get the first.
I'll go first then. Yeah.
And then you get the 6th pick. Jay, where do you want to be in this draft?
I don't care.
Well, here's the thing. You have to defend your decision. No copping out. You were making that selection. You're going to have to do it.
I need a rules clarification. Are we drafting who we think Joe will pick as the replacement, or we would pick?
Who you would pick.
And so, B-Rob, I'll give you the first pick. I'll take the 2nd and 5th pick. Jay, you get 3 and 4.
Are these starting minutes closer or just like best overall?
Closing minutes. If we're talking Brad
we're
Stevens,
talking closing minutes?
Well, okay. I don't know.
Let's go closing minutes, because closing minutes, they're the most important minutes.
Okay. All right. If we're doing closing minutes, then I think I'm going with Minot. Just from a standpoint that I don't trust really any of the other options as much as Minot from a defensive versatility standpoint. And the upside of small lineups offensively this season by the numbers is pretty fantastic. And so I'd rather have you be able to lean into that part of the game when you're on the court at that part of the game. I mean, in crunch time in those moments, like I'd rather have Minot's ability to roll, ability to hit a 3 here or there, and defensive versatility. So over the other options. So yeah, Minot was my choice for there.
I mean, you guys talked about this a little bit yesterday's pod, but that was for the Patreons only. If you want to hear more in-depth discussion, go to patreon.com/stillpotable. But how viable is the Celtics going small, Jay? Like, I think it's fun in theory, but Josh Minot's and this is going to be the problem with all of the centers. He's not a very tall man, and you're just giving up so much rim protection and defensive rebounding if you're going that small.
And especially like it's one thing to do it against Noah Penda and Orlando Robinson and the Magic's like 4th and 5th string big men, but it's totally a different story when you're playing against a big, physical, bulky ass Detroit Pistons team that can bully you on the glass, that can get inside. Even Cade Cunningham is big and powerful and can be a problem for even wings. And so, yeah, it's going to test whoever they play is going to get tested in different ways. I'm really interested to see it though, because I do think the way that the backup center minutes have gone, you have to try something new. Like, you have to try to play a different way. And now with Nemi out, it's like you have no choice. But I think it's also a good time to just experiment and see what things look like if you go super small, or see what things look like if you play Xavier Tillman more minutes.
Whoa, can't jump on my pick.
Xavier Tillman, I'm taking the second pick. I just
okay, well then you just picked
Xavier Tillman is pick number 2, and you trust him. You trust him to be in the right spot. He can switch. He gives you the defensive versatility, but he also gives you somebody who can contest shots at the rim, give you a little bulk against a guy like Jalen Duren. There's a real offensive downside. He's not going to be shooting threes as well as Minot. He's not going to be as explosive as Minot as a finisher. There's going to be problems offensively. But I think when you play him with Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and like the offense will be okay. I trust the offense with those guys on the court pretty much no matter what. And you're going to need defense. You're going to need rebounding. I was surprised Tillman didn't get a look against Orlando, but I think he's just the most trustworthy of all the options. He's the highest floor of any of these guys, and not the highest ceiling, but I still want to see more of Tillman. I think he looked pretty good in preseason. He's obviously in better shape than he was last year, moving better than he was last year when he had all the knee issues. And so this is a good time to throw him out there and see what it looks like.
All right, I have the third pick. Do I go with my brain or do I go with my brain's heart?
You don't have much of a brain.
All right, well then I'm going with Amari Williams. He's just recently called up from Maine. I saw a nice little clip of him grabbing the rebound, doing a behind the back dribble, throwing the alley-oop.
It was an in and out dribble, actually.
Oh,
please be accurate about the clip you saw.
Maybe I saw a different clip though.
No, it was the same clip. I know what clip you're talking about.
No, I
don't
saw
gaslight me. Don't gaslight me.
I saw a clip from their practice. It was an entirely different clip that I just got special access to. My biggest argument for Amari Williams is he is 6'11". He is just a tall person. Has he played in the NBA before? No. Is he British? Yes. Is that relevant? No. But I'm just excited to see what the Celtics' potential second-round pick could do. He's a tremendous passer, and he's just – you brought it up, Jay. Like, it's got to be a defensive question. And Luke, I have seen basically one clip of Amari Williams play, in addition to seeing him play Summer League. He has to have –
You're choosing him over Luka Garza already.
Quicker feet than Luka Garza. Luka Garza – maybe the fastest man on the court, but he has cinder blocks for feet, and he's just not the person there defensively. And so when Neemias gets hurt in the first 6 minutes of the game, I don't like, and Luka Garza doesn't get a look whatsoever. I don't know. Maybe it's just my desire to see something new. But with that being said, with the fourth pick, I'm picking Luka Garza because he does do the offensive rebounds, he hustles, and I think at this point he's better than any other option you have on the roster. Like Luka Garza has been fine, I guess, compared to Neemias. Like all of his numbers, the Celtics are like a net negative when he has been on the court, but I just think he's playing with a lot of bench lineups. Like he's going to hustle his ass off. He's going to offensive rebound, but I think if he's on the court, they're just going to pull him into a pick and roll with Cade Cunningham every single time. And I just don't like how that's going to go. But we knew the back half of this draft was going to be slim pickings. And so I'm going with Garza with pick number 4.
Pick 5 gets interesting. Real interesting.
Can't wait to see who slips to 6.
I don't know who to pick here.
I feel like there's one guy who's obvious, who's gotten some minutes at the center this season.
Well, there's 2 that got minutes at center the other day that we haven't picked.
I don't know who
and one of them would be a radical choice, and the other would be just a career backup. I'm going Jordan Walsh. F it. Let's just get crazy. Let's just get crazy. Chris Boucher was obviously the other option, but I know what Chris Boucher is, and it can be fine, but I want to see more of the young, energetic Celtics wings. And one way to do that is play smaller more often. Jordan Walsh at center. Would it be weird? Hell yes. But throw him out there. Throw Ugo out there next to him. Throw Minot out there next to him. Throw Shireman out there next to him. I want to see more young wings. This is a time to give those guys more runway. I just feel like they're all capable and they all have great upside. And the more reps they get, the better. I think all those guys are going to impact the Celtics, not just now, but in the future. And F it. If you play Jordan Walsh at center, then you can throw another one out there. And so that's why I'm opting for Jordan Walsh over Chris Boucher at center. Leaving B-Rob with.
Leaving me with. Listen, guys. Chris Boucher, the number 6 pick in this draft. Did you guys know that when the Celtics have him at center this year, he has a better net rating than Queta?
Whoa!
The sample size is a little different. 51 minutes.
Chris Boucher's played 51 minutes this year?
Center.
That's shocking to me.
Yeah, right? So, and
he played 15 minutes in each of the first 2 games.
Yeah, so
then played a bunch of minutes.
Played a bunch in that second. Yeah, so he definitely benefited from the first half in the Magic game when the Celtics could not miss for a stretch. But yeah, the 128 offensive rating, 112 defensive rating, plus 16.8 net rating in 51 minutes. So it's, I don't know. He's as much as a wild card as there is, as maybe even more than the wings right now. We've seen more of the wings at center this year than we have of Chris Boucher. Just based off of how the Joe Mazzulla's rotations have gone. So yeah, these are all not great options, but Boucher at least can be a little bit of a rim threat, thoroughly an offensive rebounder, can spread the floor, or at least pretend to spread the floor with the threat of an ugly 3-point shot, and he can rebound a little bit. So honestly, I would not be surprised.
He can get the ball when it's given right to him off the glass. Yeah.
So not as exciting as the other options, but I would not be surprised if ends up being. I'd be surprised if he's playing crunch time, but he might end up being the starter out of the gate here against some of these teams, just to see what he can do in those spots. Even though he's certainly down a list behind Tillman and company as far as the trust factor goes.
Now, there's one honorable mention that we all missed and that I was going to pick if I was the 6th pick. And I just had to check to make sure he's no longer on an NBA roster. Charles Bassey. Bring in the Bassmaster. You think he played 2 games for the Grizzlies and was like a roster exemption, a hardship exemption? I'm looking on the Grizzlies.com right now, and I do not see him. Still not sure why he played those games in Summer League, but he's familiarity with the system. He is tall. Bring back the Bassmaster. Are you guys ready to go another round in this?
third round.
I was not prepared for the Amari Williams pick so early.
Yeah.
So
kind of like it though.
Congrats to you, Packard, for jumping out on that limb.
Do you think there's any chance he gets playing time over these next couple of days, just given the dearth of talent we just described and Nemi not playing at all? Because you'd be really throwing him to the wolves. Literally the Timberwolves, am I right, folks? But I just don't see him getting in the game. He's probably the 12th, 13th man on this roster now.
I hate you for that Timberwolves joke.
It was pretty good though. It was unintentional.
It's I don't expect him to play real minutes, but if they can't stop anyone with small ball centers, which was the case obviously in the second half, and the other guy is getting the foul trouble, then yeah, what do you have to lose? In the
basketball game.
I mean, yes, but you're probably, if you're training him, you're probably already losing the basketball game. But yeah, he's it's a situation where, well, you probably hope it doesn't get to that point if you're Joe Mazzula, but we'll see. It's gonna be an interesting few games if Neemias can be out for them.
All right, folks, we're just going to see what happens when the Celtics play the Pistons on Wednesday night. We'll have a little bit of a podcast for you guys after that on the Patreon, patreon.com/stillpotable. If you guys want to subscribe to that, we greatly appreciate it. Everyone, we appreciate you guys tuning in right now on the CLNS YouTube page or the Still Potable YouTube page. If you like the podcast, please subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where you get your podcasts, and leave a 5-star review. We appreciate you guys. We'll so give you a little recap after the Pistons game. Take a little break for Thanksgiving. I hope everyone enjoys their Thanksgiving, and we'll be back as the Celtics have a doubleheader this weekend. We'll see which small ball option or which backup center they go with. We appreciate you guys tuning into this episode of Still Potable.
Still Potable, Still Potable. The Boston Celtics, Still Potable, Still Potable.